Thank you very much, Alexander. Thank you all. I have to admit that you have made my work a bit difficult concerning the introduction, because when you have great expectations, that is when great expectations are imposed, one cannot disappoint. So when it comes to the ministerial functions, you're very young, there's sufficient time, you might come and be a minister, but since you come from an Anglophonic surrounding, I will say the following: be careful what you wish for, you just might get it. Today it is a particular honor to me that I would wear two hats. One hat is a member of the government of Republic of Macedonia that invests a lot when it comes to promoting the Republic of Macedonia, establishing links with the diaspora and all that related to it, but I'm wearing a hat of a person that has lived majority of the children of the life as children as and youth abroad. In the part of the formal presentation, I just wanted in a somewhat artificial manner, because the topic is very difficult to encompass in a very short period of time. So the Macedonian Foreign Policy 91-2013, that's the title, my heading. I try to introduce 4 stages in that period. The first stage is recognition. That's the stage in which the main issue which was supposed to be answered was, are we gonna make it or not? A lot of the countries say they're not gonna make it. A lot of countries even today say that we're not gonna make it, but we are here today and we have the shared enthusiasm to grow and develop. So the key steps were initially the attempt of Republic of Macedonia to establish a network outside, abroad, and to be put on the map, to be noted that we have such and such state, there are such and such people living there, they want to do this and this. So the key aspects here were the recognition of Republic of Bulgaria and Republic of Turkey in 1992. In that first year of announcement of the independence, Macedonia was recognized by a total of 8 states in the world. Not much, but that's the reality of the first stage and the answer of whether we're going to make it or not. The answer to the question whether we're going to make it or not. In a second stage, I named it as reaching some sort of prominence. So where can we be prominent? So various fronts appeared as to where can we present candidates, what are our aspirations, ambitions, and we also make the breakthrough when it comes to recognition. So now we have diplomatic relations with about 170 states around the world. Majority of them we have bilateral communication under our constitutional name. What is important is that we have also a majority of the existing members of the Security Council with which we have established bilateral communication under our constitutional name, 56 consular representative offices, honorable consuls. Also, we became a member of 103 international organizations and regional initiatives, a country candidate since 2005 to the European Union, and with the signing of the Stabilization Association Agreement in 2001, we entered the so-called third stage, which is the stage of integration. Yes, we will make it. Yes, we are independent states. We are recognized and promoted. And now, how fast can we achieve a membership in the European family? A lot of things were mentioned yesterday. I don't want to repeat myself because a lot will be said by our speakers today. So just to recap, we applied an approach of a good student. We took the textbook and we said, okay, fine, European Union, okay, what is that? you want to have an internal market and every company will compete under equal conditions that will provide for the best economic development for all those within the family. You already say that we are all functional democracies, market economies, that we all operate according to some established rules. We took the textbook and for 12 and 13 years we are implementing various lessons in all domains of life, environment, from environment to how are we supposed to park our vehicles in the parking lot or we are not supposed to park them there, or other set of criteria that we are to implement. So the most significant parts of this story is that the fact that the Republic of Macedonia, from a country in which when I was in high school the question was whether we're going to make it or not, and the chief debate in my neighborhood uh, during the years of independence and the referendum, we gathered them in the eve of the referendum and we talked about the fact whether we're going to have milk or not, whether we're going to have milk or not. So that was the key challenge, and with the independence. And now we've reached a stage in which myself and Alexander, we um, have finished our education. We are carrying on with our lives and trying to build something and push this country in NATO and the EU. And the third contributor is Macedonia per capita in the east of Afghanistan mission, so we are the third one on that list. We grew into a state where no one doubts whether we're compatible with EU standards or not, because we are for a very long time now. For several years now, we are ready to start the negotiations for EU membership, and if we haven't had the dispute over the name, we would have had the either final stage, bureaucratic stage of the negotiation process, or already in the European Union. But since I'm a Minister of Foreign Affairs and I deal with political problems, political matters, and that would mean accomplishment of goals to the extent possible. That would be the basic definition of policy, I was told. So what can you do with in given parameters which you cannot influence? So we are where we are after a long period of time. We have uh, we have met the benchmarks. We are prepared to become a member of the EU and NATO. A lot, of course, is not finished yet, and we have to consider of what needs to be additionally done within the limitations imposed from our side. So the limitations are considered according to the principles and rules that we learned from the textbook which was given when we said that we wanted to be a part of the EU and NATO. They said we have the rule of law here, and we said okay, yes, let's see what we're going to do, because they said we have free movement, free trade and economy. We said okay, fine, let's see how can we improve on that, submitting various initiatives to all of our neighbors. Let's open an additional uh, border posts and so on. Let's sign an additional agreement, cooperation agreement, and so on. And also, I neglect to mention that we are signatories of more than 1,000 bilateral and multilateral agreements. So this is a very serious answer to the question whether we're going to make it or not. I think that we are. So, in the part of dealing with what is given, we tried to meet criteria to the extent possible, which will be necessary for our development. And the fourth stage is development. So the first one was recognition. The second one was putting the country out there on the map. The third one was uh, promotion, and the fourth one was development. The set of criteria were supposed to be met. They depend on ourselves, whether we're going to have efficient judiciary system and whether the companies will be able to promptly be registered, uh, collect the claims and so on. That depends on us, not on them. In that particular segment, we invested the most of our energies and commitments. And when it comes to the development stage, we asked ourselves, in addition of meeting the requirements from the textbook of EU and NATO, what else can we do? It might sound too ambitious on one hand, on another it's quite legitimate if we want to be a recognized actor, an accepted, an acknowledged one, which is the desire of every Macedonian in and outside Macedonia, so to be proud, and that is our work. So in the forthcoming period, the one that we are at the moment, and in the period of 5 to 10 years, what we need to strengthen initially will be the economic diplomacy. And that is why you see increased activity of the Government Republic of Macedonia when it comes to economic diplomacy across the world. What is our purpose? It's not about the road shows, what is most visible to you when you living outside Macedonia. The main goal is to attain greater life standards for the citizens of Republic of Macedonia that can be achieved through market economy and through attraction of investments. Macedonia is not a rich country with resources. We cannot attract investments in that way. The only way that we can attract investors is by offering the best potential conditions for managing a business. So we have signed free trade agreements with Ukraine, with Turkey, and so on. We are a small country. We don't have any resources. We don't have any comparative advantages over the others, and we need to we can develop if we provide a good place to manage business within a greater market. Here I see the greatest potential when we talk about development and growth. And the majority of investors, when they ask for destinations of where they want to construct a factory and set up factories and open logistics center, to know that initially Macedonia exists, that offers conditions, and competition is easy to find with such requirements and conditions. And we will always work in providing the best possible conditions and environment for the open market. If we had gas, either oil, we wouldn't have any problems, or we would have less complicated issues. The second issue, or priority, is the public diplomacy that we should dwell on. We are the most called upon to contribute. On several occasions, I try to talk about the following. We are a small country and we need to have a greater public diplomacy. When we talk about big countries, you can allow yourselves to be comfortable in compensating the public diplomacy with the huge resources. A country which doesn't have any resources, we need to invest ourselves more in the public diplomacy, more than the ones that actually have the buffer zone, which we don't. The most relevant would be that those that create an image for Republic of Macedonia see Macedonia far less through the diplomats and far more through the contexts that they have established in the malls, the faculties, the working place. Yes, I know a family, they are from Macedonia, they are very decent people, hard working and so on. That's the image is important, and it's difficult to compensate for that image through an organized governmental or another diplomatic activity, and we have to work long-term considering this. The diaspora is a potential. You are not people that want to spend 1 week of holiday because you don't have another place to go on holiday, but you are potentially huge amount of people, let's say a fourth of the population. No one has an exact account. And you come initially because you have links with this country. So either you have been born here, or your parents were born here, or majority of your family is here, because you feel comfortable. It's probably 10 times more expensive for you to come to Macedonia than Puerto Rico, but you feel better here. And thirdly, most of you are people that are very successful in the environments, so they can promote Republic of Macedonia in their professional environment and they can invest. And it's up to us to convince you to do that. And the fourth thing that we need to invest are the relations with the region. We're a very small country without exit to a sea. We're landlocked. So, with exceptionally open economy. So we have about 30% of the GDP for exports. So that's number of figures of Belgium and other open economies. If we don't have an open platform, we will suffocate. We cannot economically develop if we don't have exceptionally open connections and relations with all of the neighbors. It's not unattainable. It's not a science fiction. It's not impossible. It's very feasible. But again, depends on our attitude and the ones around us. So, an example, countries like Scandinavian countries and Switzerland and so on, internationally they weigh much more than measured in economy or population. Sweden has less than 9 million population and has greater influence in the European policy in comparison to those that have 200 million. So it has an image, it has ambition, it has population. So we cannot measure as a region with neither of the above mentioned, but as a region, if we work on attaining such a platform that will be open to the extent possible, we will have much more chances to be developed. So I think that this should be our focus of attention. And finally, success for Republic of Macedonia is for these evolutionary years, number one, is that we grew from the ashes. And thinking of whether we will achieve or not, whether we will make it or not, we did make it and were a part of the establishment of the world peace. We reached a position in which we are just in front of the doors of the NATO club. We have built a very sound relationship with all the actors belonging to the EU and NATO family, and I hope that we will continue to deal with those that oppose us and negate us, and be constructive and be responsible. A former British Prime Minister, Margaret Thatcher, said, Margaret Thatcher, if she doesn't kill you, she will make you stronger. So she said, if this doesn't kill you, it will make you stronger, and I think that we actually did that. And finally, we are a country that does not suffer from any external threats. We have closed the chapter of intimidations, threats, occupations, changing of borders that come from outside and so on. So we've overcome that gap. So it's not a matter of how we're going to shift borders, but if you will create a good baseline for the citizens to grow and develop living within the borders of your country. Thank you very much. Here I will stop with talking, so I'm available if you have any additional questions or considerations. Thank you.